Mannu, welcome.
Thank you.
Phenomenal story. I know a lot about you, but I'm just going to touch base on a few crucial points. I actually got goosebumps when I think about it. You're 39 years old today. You run successful businesses today. Big fan of supercars and cars in general.
Yeah.
And when somebody sees you, they would say, you know what? He's living an amazing life.
Yeah.
But then I put a handbrake. How did he get here? So I know you came to Australia as an international student.
Yeah.
So coming here as a student to where you are today, it seems like there's a massive, massive journey full of hard work, persistence, never give up attitude for you to say, yes, you know what? I'm doing well today. Yeah. How did it all start?
Oh, look.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So normally when a lot of young people see you drive your purple or pink Lamborghini or Rolls, so when people see you living life that you are living today, you know, they see everything beautiful. Yeah. But what I see is exactly that. Mannu, how did it all started? And first thing that you... Where
Look,
do I begin?
It's a plan. And I must say, yes, you believe in luck, you believe in hard work, yes, but you've got to believe in yourself and your plan.
Yes.
Yes, I manifest a lot.
Yes.
I see things where I want to be.
Yes.
And I remember, I think there's a famous quote that my biggest inspiration is me in 5 years. Yes. That's the guy I look up to.
Yes. And then when you get to the 5 years, then you again
next
in
5 years. Because I'm still unhappy with it, and then I go ahead. But it has to be a plan. I think the most important part in my life has been I enjoy my company.
Yes.
I love my own company, and I'm so comfortable with myself because I know myself so well.
Yes.
So things are very clear to me what I want in my life. Yes. They're very, very clear. And there's very clarity in my mind what I don't want, more importantly. Yes. And once you have that attitude, when you're comfortable with yourself, yes, when you see the positive in life, and you manifest and you go get it, yes, things just line up.
Yes.
The other thing is I don't sit on things for too long. Yes. If I see something, I want to do it, and I feel that feeling of, and I always say this, Emil, I have this quote, somebody asked me one day, it's like, how do you start a business? And I said, do you remember when you were like in your early teens, yes, and you see a cute guy or a cute girl, and you feel that, you know, the butterflies in your tummy? I said, the day you will feel the same thing with your business, that's it. That love at first sight with something you want to do is something where the success will just come with it. Yes. With my story, I always knew that I'll be a successful guy. I'm not kidding. Yes. Because I was so positive in my life and I believed in myself that a world is out there for us to go get it. Yes. We just need to be hungry and be convinced and a good reasoning why we want to do what we want to do. Yes. And if the money is the factor, as we just discussed before, please shut it. Just don't do it. If you're waking up in the morning to make money, that's a very sickening feeling for me. Yes. We are in a journey, and I see life is a very short, and we are in such a small, we are passing by in this big and amazing universe.
Well, think about it. Your age, 39, you're realistically halfway through your life if you get to live to age 80. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, your cup is already half gone. Yeah. So, whatever is left out of your life, or anybody that is watching this, you really got to make sure for that cup, for that glass half full filled with water, that how you're going to, spend the rest of the water is really up to you. A few interesting things that you just touched based, which is interesting. I got a feeling you're a planner. I got a feeling you mapped your life. That's where I am in 5 years, and how do I plan to actually execute and get there, which is very crucial. Second thing is, interesting what you just said, that when an idea comes to your mind, you're probably fast at analyzing your idea, working the risk involved, but executing it fast as well. Reason why I said it's interesting what you just said, because a lot of people are planning for a perfect time to start a business or whatever the hell it is that they're doing.
Today is the perfect time.
Because you will never know everything about any business, right?
No, you don't.
Nobody, Warren Buffett, he wasn't born with the knowledge that he's got today.
No.
He started somewhere and started learning as you go. And that's probably why business is so interesting, because you're constantly being challenged. You're constantly discovering, better ways to do things.
Yes.
But then you're constantly pushed against the corner because new things are coming. And how can I master them? How can I be better? Competition could be there. So all of those things are really telling anybody, hey, you do have to have a clear understanding of what you want to do and how to execute it. But the reality is, you can't just sit on it all your life and wait for that perfect moment. And the reality is, you, Manu, and me, we make mistakes on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Some of them, unfortunately, are costing us money. But overall, there's a saying, as long as I keep going 2 steps forward and maybe 1 back, I'm still moving forward. And that's start of any business as well. What got you, I feel like you are not entrepreneur that is stick to one profession. I feel like when you are born entrepreneur, you are opportunist. So, with me, I love challenges. I love growing businesses. And with me, I'm passionate in general about entrepreneurship and business. So tomorrow, 2 of us might start importing tires. And you'll find,
let's do that.
Let's do that. We'll actually probably need to, so you can save some money of paying
all the cars
on all the cars that we have. But the point is, I think anything that we do, when you have a clear vision and the reasons why I want to do it, we kind of fall into enjoying it. So with yourself, what industries are you in right now, and where are you? Being into?
Look, I think the first thing you just said about the competition and the industries which we are going ahead with, the biggest thing is my competition has always been me. And this is not just a statement. How my success has actually, I sometimes get very frustrated with myself. But am I giving my 100%? The industries which I have been into, sometimes I don't even know who my competition is. Like genuinely, I'm so focused on my own stuff.
And I think that's very interesting. I think too many people are too focused on what everybody else is doing instead of what business is doing at the moment. Because if you are spending 90% of your energy thinking about your competitors, only 10% is doing your own business.
I don't even know them sometimes.
You know what I mean? I always say it's good to be aware of what's happening in the world, but at the end of the day, your focus needs to be things that you need to be doing.
Absolutely.
And keep doing it better every day.
It's me versus me every day. That's most important. But that has been my, previously I've competed with a multi-billion-dollar businesses when I was in a pathology business. And I did not even pay too much attention about what they're doing and how they're doing it. The only thing I thought was, if I'm in a business, my customers, who are the most important part of my business, they expect me to deliver the same amount of service. If it's my business is started yesterday, and they started 100 years ago.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They're going to ask me to give me the same level of service. And that's where you push the boundaries and you say, you know what, it's amazing because my competition has already put me in a pedestal that this is my starting point where they have now came after 100 years or 50 years of doing business. That is my starting point.
And also the thing is, your customer, they don't, you can't tell your customer, hey, today's the 5th day of me starting the business.
You can't.
Can you forgive me for my mistakes? Anybody that is spending any money in any of our businesses, they accept great service or product, whatever the hell you're selling.
That's right.
They all expect the same result and level of professionalism dealing with 2 of us or somebody that started the company 500 years ago.
100%. And the second thing you asked, which industries are we in? So, look, we try to do something. I say no to a lot of things. But when I say yes, I get obsessed. Literally obsessed. Means you will be talking to me about something else and it's flying off my... I'll go home and the family will be having a conversation.
And you're in a la la land.
I am in a la la land. And it's so frustrating for your family to see that. They're like, you're not present, are you? How can you be present when you love what you do and you are just obsessed with that? So we started, of course, during the COVID time. I'm a Sikh guy, and the Sikhs are predominantly warriors. And I think that attitude of mine, when the COVID hit us, I wasn't going to be the guy who sits home and just does, okay, well, whatever is hitting us, go with the plan. if there's a fire, and it has happened several times in my life, an actual fire, I'm the guy who wants to jump in there and get the people
and that
out.
Fire will not stop coming.
That's right. So whatever, in COVID time, I was like, I'm not going to sit and do nothing about it. I'm going to do something about it. And we did it. And we did it so successfully that the previous health minister, after he resigned, he's in my company. Absolutely privileged to have someone like them. That just showed me that I was on the right track. So yes, healthcare was predominantly our market where we were going to go. I started a pathology company, went ahead to start Kovacs Australia with my amazing business partner, Anuj. And he's the guy who looks into the details and looks at the financials and helps me with the strategy. And it's very important to have those like-minded partnership. When I say like-minded, they're going to be a bit different.
Otherwise, what's the point of getting two of you?
Oh, absolutely. And I like having that partnership model. I can work with anybody. That has always been my thing.
But you need somebody that's going to add value.
Absolutely.
You know, from a different
and thinks differently than you.
100%. You know what? Sometimes it's good to have somebody who does actually think differently, because we only know what we know. You know, and we are right in our own mind because that's all we know. This is quite often that I say to a lot of kids these days, or I call them kids, somebody that's 20 years old, and they blame their parents. He said, my parents told me, go and study, go and get a good education.
Oh my gosh.
And one thing I tell them, don't blame your parents, because they're only teaching you what they know from their perspective.
I mean, I'm on my social media.
They want the best for you.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I wrote something last night on my social media, which I spoke to my dad. And I said
that... That is always right, by the way.
That is always right, yes.
I think
my kids
maybe it's my background as well. That I grew up, you got to look out and respect the oldest as well. Do you
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
And I said, look, the reality is, and this is to all the young entrepreneurs out there, your family, the people who love you, and this is my opinion and I could be completely wrong, in most of the first generation young entrepreneurs, the people who love you, they will give you the worst career advice, especially in the entrepreneurial journey. I'm not talking being a doctor and being an engineer. The people who love you, they will always restrict you because they love you. They want you to be safe. They will never tell. If I tell my dad tomorrow, I'm selling my house and I'm starting this company, if I tell my wife I'm remortgaging my house and starting this new company, they'll or if, babe, I'm so stressed about this job, they will give you the safety net. They'll say, don't do it. And what happens, a lot of people actually blame their parents, I didn't become this because they said no, they said don't do it, my dad wanted me to do a job. Because they love you. They want you to be safe.
Of course.
And as you know, being an entrepreneur, there's no such thing called being safe.
No, there's definitely no such a thing as a...
So you need, from your people who you love, and you need people around you who love you, you need your life wisdom and life advice from them to be a good human being.
Correct.
That's nobody else can give you.
Which is the most crucial foundation that we need as a human. I always say the world has enough bad people.
Plenty.
They don't need another two here.
That's right.
So one thing is, if your parents are, like my parents, they were never entrepreneurial. Mom was stay-home mom. And dad,
you can relate to it, what I just said, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And dad was, he was working for somebody all his life, till he started working for my brother and myself, and now we retired him. And, but, I always say the love and respect and loyalty that my parents gave me, I can also use that as a foundation in my own business as well.
100%.
Because I always say in business, I'm old school. And that's something I've learned from my father. Not in a business point of view, but my dad, back where I come from, if he tells his neighbor, hey, John, I'm going to do something.
That's
or I'm going to help you.
Yes.
Or I'm going to be there.
Yes.
He will be there and he will do it. These days, if me and you want to buy something, we need to get 5 lawyers involved. We need a contract this thick.
It's not a handshake deal.
Like I always said, when I purchased my head office, which is 700 meters from here, it was a $4.5 million deal, 6 or 8 years ago. And I bought it from another gentleman who's got similar values to me. We did it on a handshake. We met on Friday.
Love it.
$4.5 million handshake. Settlement was 3 months. And on Monday, I was already doing fit out in my office, no contract. That happens once in blue moon. It can never happen.
But those values need to come back. I mean, I tell you, those things need to happen. And I remember, I think you might know my very good friend, Mitchell Van.
Yes.
And even though we actually had a competition in the market, Mitch and I, and we were like really fighting for those pathology samples.
Yes.
But I love him. And the reason is that we had a handshake deal before I went ahead and started the own pathology company. It was a millions of dollars of deal between him and I in a handshake deal. And he kept that deal right till the end.
Yes.
And I told him that whatever I do in the pathology world, that respect will always stay. And he respected me.
Yes.
And those values, and that's why I always love, it's not a competition because, as I said, the competition is between yourself.
Yes.
To have those relationships with people that even if they're competing, they're thinking good for you. They're wishing you well. Because those positive energies are so important for you to be a successful human being.
Yes.
Like, stuff it. Yes. Everybody's richer and poorer than you, right?
Absolutely.
But being a good human being, when you meet someone and build those relationships, it has to be on a very genuine level.
Yes.
That's what the fun of living the life here.
I agree. At the same time, doing business today is probably a little bit different from the age
our parents did.
Our parents did or their time 30, 40, 50 years ago. I always say, in business, I will always be kind and great to competitors. And the ones that
100%.
I know, I'll be great to them as well. With me, I don't get into the business of talking bad about anybody. I just focus on doing my own thing.
Yes.
But if I do feel that they want to do the wrong thing by me, with me is, all right, in business, there's no mercy. I'm there to get business off you. Do you know what I mean? And talk
but with ethics.
With ethics,
absolutely
correct.
Ethics,
Talk about your friend, Mitch. If there's a mutual respect, I've got a friend of mine, they're in the real estate game as well.
Yeah.
And, a few friends that are in property development game like me. We develop and do similar things in the same suburb.
Yes.
We constantly communicate, share ideas, and so on. Plenty of business for everybody.
It's fun, we're growing together. It's so much fun growing, even if you're competing, as you said, to build a legacy together for the younger generation, for our kids, for our family.
Yes.
Because it has to take one to break that generational curse for the young and the first-time entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So I strongly believe in that. Coming back to the point with industries where we started. So, of course, healthcare is my prime business. From healthcare, we went into dividing healthcare into different sections. We have an agency, which I had to. I'm not a big fan of an agency, but I had to do this because I was utilizing. I need to have a labor hire license in the COVID time because I had hundreds and hundreds of people working at that time for me.
Yes.
And after that, we have a section which we do projects.
Yes.
Now, I like healthcare projects which are more innovative, and nobody has done this before. And every project I've done has made a news, has been in Parliament, and I love it. It's actually free advertisement.
And did you get into the healthcare industry by accident, or was that the plan?
No, it was a plan.
Did you study anything health related?
Yes. So I've got a bachelor's in physio back in my
So it didn't happen by accident?
Nothing happens by an accident in my life.
Yes.
Nothing happens.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. I got to have a plan.
Yes.
Otherwise, there's no such thing on the go. A lot of the people actually think that, it just landed in me.
Yes.
I don't share my thoughts and stuff out there because when I'm out there, it's more important that I listen to people rather than saying what's going on in this.
Yes.
That's why probably we're determined to keep it all intact.
Yes.
But it's always a plan. In healthcare section, the projects which we have come with, and you wait for the new project which I'm coming up with. That's going to make a news for days.
Yes.
I'm working on it. But during the COVID time, the projects we did. After COVID time, the aged care support we did. And then after that, I started helping the hospitals in their bed, like in ambulance ramping and bed blocking.
Yes.
We're working on that nationally now. And then we have a gold care company, KNG Gold Care.
Yes.
Which, because I saw the gap in the market in the aged care sector. And I think your values and my values is we look after our parents and we want them to stay at home.
Yes.
Yes, there are circumstances in Western world where, in fact, actually the East is going West and West is going East now.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of aged care opening in India right now than here. Yes. But we want to pay parents to stay at home. So I started a KNG Gold Care, and Anuj and I had a vision that we want our parents to be at home looked after that company. So that all sits in healthcare.
Yes.
So it's an in-home care service.
Yes.
So 3 projects there. Then we wanted to get a cybersecurity check done.
Yes.
In our company.
Yes.
And one of our friends came to do a cybersecurity check-in, and they scared me.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my
World is
gosh.
falling apart. Happened to me a few years ago as well.
Yes.
Because you don't think about it when you're running your own business.
That's the last thing. And we're not aware of the cybersecurity as much because we think our IT providers are looking after that.
Yes.
But most of our IT providers don't have the cybersecurity skill sets.
Yes, of course.
So I remember the board meeting, we're sitting there, they're presenting us the whole thing, and I'm like, you're not leaving until I buy this company. Because I don't get usually scared and with anything. And I'm like, I'm buying. So we bought that company.
Yes.
And I'm actually very passionate about running that. We have some massive contracts lined up.
Yes. That's called opportunist. Because as much as you're in a healthcare industry, at the same time, yesterday I was on Instagram and one of great 3 good business young individuals, they did a post on social media that gave me enough information. Okay, I need to reach out straight away. I need to have a meeting within 1 hour, and I did, and our talks are moving forward.
Oh, brilliant!
But that is, still yourself being opportunist and being open to opportunities that are presented to you.
And that's why I think in any
sometimes
conversation,
they get presented, and that business was never for sale.
Yeah. And look, I think that's why it's important to be present in the moment. And listen. Because sometimes the opportunities, I think there's a famous thing that when someone said he was drowning in the water and he goes, one boat came and said, hey, can I save you? He's like, no, God will save me.
Yes.
And then the next boat came in and said, hey, do you want me to save you? He's like, no, God will come and save me. Yes. And then he died and he went up there and he asked the God, I believed in you. He goes, who the hell sent you those 2 boats? So you got to be present in the moment and take it. And I'm very passionate about that. Then we started a company in education sector, where education always been very close to me. As you said, I came as an international student here. Yes. And that's, I'm trying to mix, we are trying to mix tech and education together.
Yes.
And that's a business evolving and getting rolled out in India as we speak. It's confidential at the moment because a lot of parts to be put together in that business. Then we have a tech business. In tech, we saw the issue with the rostering and payroll and invoicing and all that different. There's no one thing which can solve the whole problem. So we are developing a tech business to put all those things together as well. Yes. Then we have a security business, which is I actually worked as a security guard. I'm not kidding. In my part-time jobs, list of my part-time jobs,
which is interesting. When I sit back sometimes and I think, okay, where my life is at the moment, and then, when I'm by myself, I would laugh sometimes thinking what I had to do, the ladders and Mount Everest that I had to climb to be where I am today. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Other day I'm I was going through McDonald's. Then I remember I came to Australia when I was 16. I'm pretty sure I was 16 and a half or 17 years old. I'd sent like 10 applications to this McDonald's and I couldn't freaking get a job. I was like, I really wanted to get a job in this McDonald's because at that time I don't know, maybe paying $8, $9.
They did you a favor.
Yeah, and I am there, and I was driving one of my nice cars, and I'm thinking to myself, man, it's interesting, the little setbacks you might have, or
it's so important, you win or you learn, you never lose, right?
You never, your mind is your best friend and your biggest enemy. I see everything as a positive. Me making mistakes, me losing money on opportunities that I might be involved with, so you can either learn from it and move forward and use the knowledge that you gain to make things better with whatever industry you're targeting. Or beat yourself up and not do anything again.
Yes.
And then you really lose.
Yes. If you don't learn from your mistakes, then you're losing. Otherwise, it's a learning exercise. It might cost you money, but so does MBAs and all the stuff. It costs you money to learn, right?
Everything we do, there's a price to pay.
100%.
Everything we do.
And we do like things for free anyways.
Exactly. Price to pay it's not just financially. It could be your time, could be your energy, could be grey hair, that I have on my head.
Time.
And time is something that we can never get back.
Yeah.
Now, looking from the sideline and you're doing some amazing things. So over the years, when did you start your first business when you came to Australia?
In Australia, probably the 2014. I came 2009. I came 11, 12. I finished my my university and stuff.
Yes.
And then, say after that, maybe 2013, I started being an entrepreneur. I wouldn't say that because
You started when you were born. Everything was having an impact on your life to do what you're
absolutely.
doing today.
But Emil, I tell you, this is the biggest shift, and I sometimes go frustrated myself because the change of acknowledging that I was an entrepreneur,
Yes.
that was the biggest issue. I couldn't acknowledge it.
Yes.
Because when you come from a small, humble family, like your story,
Yes, yes,
job is what you're thinking you're going to have it.
yes,
I remember starting a business when I was 19,
yes, yes,
but then I'm looking for a job at the same time.
yes, yes.
It is so funny. Then I came here and I started a business. And then again, if any application comes in, I'm looking for jobs because this cultural heaviness on you to find a job. I remember one day, so what I do is quite very personal to me. What I do, sometimes I pause
Yes.
at time to time in my life and I say, remember this moment, remember this time, and remember where you are, and look back at this moment. So I remember when I was 10
Yes, yes.
and I said this word to me, I remember that time. And out of a lot of things I remember, I thought if I come to this country and I have a job, if I make $10,000 a month,
Yes, yes,
I'll be happy.
yes.
I'll be happy. But the same instance, the conviction wasn't there. I was like,
Yes,
what am I saying? And now we do like 2.5 million a fortnight payroll.
yes, yes.
But then you're like, nah, this is not me. So to answer your question, I think it's very important for the youngsters to have those mentors. It is so important. So who can acknowledge and say, Emil, you are actually an entrepreneur. Manu, do this. You're made to do these things.
Yes.
And sometimes the life, it takes too long for you to acknowledge that.
Yes.
I've wasted probably a lot of my years.
But at the same time, I think the way you have done it, I respect it as well. Because these days, any 18 years old, 19 years old, or 20 or 25 or 30 years old, everybody is so focused giving themselves titles. They're starting something. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a CEO. I'm a director.
Oh man, you know how hard it is to actually say it?
Do you know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
kidding.
But that is the way maybe we were brought up, or the way we see
Yes.
things differently.
Yeah.
With me, I got no title in my business.
Oh.
My title is I just go to work and get things done. Simple as that.
Good
And
one.
I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
But these days, I think what do you do for a living? I'm an entrepreneur. People don't even understand
man.
the word entrepreneur,
Nah.
what actually it means, full stop. With me is, good friend of mine, Chris, and he said, Emil, he's a little bit older than me, all he believed is head down, bum up, and keep working. What my title is in the business, and we employ now probably well over 400 staff, and my title is it's irrelevant. People know I run the companies and I own them, but I never want to. I like to be on everybody's level,
Yes, that's the EQ, right? That's our emotional intelligence and people believing in us.
Yes.
And that's one thing which we have seen in a successful common entrepreneurs is having that level of relationship with your staff, with your people, that they believe in you. I remember one day I was somewhere and they introduced me as a self-made young millionaire.
Yes.
And I actually felt very bad. I said, please don't call me millionaire. I'm happy with that statement, but please don't call me self-made because so many people have supported me in my journey. I don't want to insult those people.
It's everybody's millionaire, not self. You're right. You got a point there.
Those people have so much had faith in me when I just was a rookie, and I went there and started something. They said, yes, we'll give it you go. If I forget those people in my life, that's not my values. So I believe that there's no, if you're a crypto guy and sit on a computer and you write a code and boom, you're a millionaire. Yes, self-made. Yes. But in our business, it's your first client who gave you the property and say, you sell this for me, Emil.
Yes.
I'm sure you remember that person. I'm sure you always think of that person that gave me a good go. So we owe our success to all those people. So we're not self-made. Yes, we could be successful. But
I mean, people see, Lionel Messi or Ronaldo, they see, they are the team, but they just one person out of 11 soccer players in the team that make Ronaldo shine. And
the ball is not on the right place at the right time. Ronaldo can't do anything.
And somebody needs to pass you that ball.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't have nobody passes you that ball. There's no scoring, and same thing in the business. What would you say is the hardest thing about business? If you had to give advice to somebody. So somebody that wants to start anything that we are doing and said, Mannu, what the hell is in front of me?
Not giving up. Not giving up. And there's a lot of factors. I hope I can simplify this, but I think the biggest factor is why you are doing this thing. If you're doing a business because someone else is doing it, well, it's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
I can bet that it's going to go. So your why has to be convinced and solving a problem which actually leaves this world in a better place. That problem has to be solved. So the why is very important. Everybody has a different why, and be realistic about it. Yeah. Whatever your why is, the sooner you can define that, it becomes easier to do business.
Yes.
Then I think there are small things which come. There is a lot of challenges in doing business. When you're in the business, your cash flow is important.
Yes.
But that's actually a later stage of the business.
Yes.
That's why I've got my business partner. He manages that. I'm a spender, so I know my.
I gotta spend money to make money.
Yes. I spend money because life is too short.
Yeah.
So that is the truth. I'm not going to be young at the same age, ever again. Everything will replaceable.
And also throughout parts of your life, you also enjoy different things when it comes to the personal level.
We change, right?
When two of us are 80 years old, first of all, the reason why we will not drive Lamborghinis.
We can't get bloody in there.
or we can't get, maybe we get in, but we won't be able to get out. You know what I mean? So everything happens at the right stage of life.
That's right.
And people need to enjoy all the stages of their life
yes.
as well.
Yes.
Interesting thing is when you think about business, I always say to any young individual when they want to start, anybody that is starting their business, the energy is up here.
Yeah.
Enthusiasm is up here. Your dreams, everything is just so high.
Yeah.
You're conquering the world. Then you start your business tomorrow. You might import a product or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then nobody's knocking on the door.
Yes.
Reality
hits you.
Check.
Yeah.
Hits you.
Yeah.
And that's the time where you keep talking quite a lot about it. Your passion, do you leave? Because I don't know the exact percentage, but I'm pretty sure there's a high percentage of businesses close up in the first 12 months or 2 years.
Oh, yeah, 50% in 12 months, 60, 70% in 18 months.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, that is all, managing your state of mind, because in business, both of our businesses, we had challenging times.
Yes.
We had challenging times that we had to, it's not all fun and glory.
Oh, no, I tell you, this is very important point. Now, you imagine in COVID time, I was so busy, extremely busy, managing vaccination sites, testing sites, coming up with the new strategies to manage pandemic, working with Queensland Health.
In a times that you never lived before.
Never.
Because you never experienced COVID.
Never.
You didn't even know what the hell is happening.
Absolutely.
Most of us did.
Yeah.
So that is like, okay, how do you think on your feet and actually go through it?
Yeah. So it's surprisingly, we came up with so many ideas which became the policy in the nation. But the most important part was, I remember the day when all the management of COVID finished.
Yes.
Right. So in 2022, in May, we were done with vaccination, we're done with testing, and now the COVAX Australia, our company, has got zero revenue coming in. Every single thing is shut.
Yes.
And I have built a company with, at that time, we had 850 staff members.
Yes.
An amazing management team who worked under immense pressure.
Yes.
And now I'm sitting there, a decent amount of money in my bank, which you don't want to spend that money because it needs to be flowing.
Yes.
I'm thinking, I don't want to lose this team.
Yes.
And so then comes, because COVID was very opportunistic business.
Yes.
I've done businesses before.
Interesting you said that. You can look at it two-way. Run and hide and walk out of the bunker when the COVID is finished.
Yeah.
Or take opportunities out of the situation that you are in.
So 90% of businesses, 95% of businesses started in COVID had shut down.
Yes.
So that's a very scary statistics.
Yes.
And I remember clearly, I'm not letting this go.
Yes.
This amazing thing which we have. I mean, there has been opportunities or situations where the Chief Health Officer of Queensland has called me on 24th of December, on Christmas Eve, and said, Mannu, we got all the path companies in the state shut down for the testing because of the Christmas time. Yes. We have New South Wales people coming in, and we want to test them before it was a shit show.
Yes.
Can you start some testing sites?
You're already on the way, in the car, running.
You know when? He goes, I said, when do you want it? Tomorrow morning. This call was 7 p.m. on 24th of December.
Yes.
And he wanted me to start these testing sites in Brisbane on Christmas Day.
Yes.
You know, I mean, magic happened. 257 people worked next morning for me.
Yes.
And both Anuj and I were on the field. I had staff members, and I love them to my death. I had staff members, their kids in the car while they're running my sites. So when it comes to giving, I get very emotional with those things because those staff members and those people, they're my lifeline.
Yes.
They back my vision up. So when I called, and I remember there was a tent guy. I was so connected with people. So I stick to one vendor. Like if I have a tent guy, he's my tent guy.
Yes.
If I have an electrician, he's my electrician. I stick to one guy.
I'm so old school. Matter of fact, I'm using electrician since 2003
right.
on my development.
So, doesn't say we share a lot of values together.
He's much older than me. When I was 18, 19, I think it was 45. And he said, Emil, I want to retire. I said, but you're not going anywhere. Just keep working.
So, Emil, imagine I'm calling. So, the first call I made wasn't to my operation team or my business partner. The first call I'm making is to my tent guy because I need a tent for testing. Yes. And I said, Tom, I got a favor to ask. He goes, hey, tell me, what's up? I said, I need some tent being placed. Oh, yeah, no worries. When? Oh, I'm shut on Christmas, but come in January. I said, no, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
And but it's also a big credit to you as being a good leader of your company, because for you to make anything happen, you need people that will say yes to you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I always say, through entire COVID, and I'm not in the health industry, so I'm in the industry where I should technically fire everybody because we couldn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
We've only lost one staff member, and that staff resigned because she wanted to look after her mom. So the way I saw it is, and there were times in the middle of the COVID where I was not making money. Matter of fact, losing.
Of course.
Because I had to pay a lot of staff for them to really do nothing. Come to the office or not even come to the office. So we were paying them for some time. But the way I see it, these people have been loyal to me for a very long time.
Yes, we can't be without them anyway.
I have to look after them for this time because this will pass. There's my mom told me this story, but then I ended up finding it on YouTube as well. And so there was, this is not business related, but it's interesting to entire discussions that we are having. When parents tell you these stories, what happened 500 years ago, or 100 years ago, there's some truth in it that they probably heard in some villages.
That's right.
So there was a guy, and he had a dad, and his dad said to him, son, one day when I get old, I'm going to leave you something, And son thought to himself, maybe dad is going to leave me, some money or something, or land or whatever it is. Yeah. Anyway, 20, 30 years passed, and dad said to him when he was alive, he said, what I'm going to leave you is going to be under this tree. It's going to be buried there. So even he thought it could be, diamonds or who knows what it is.
Yeah.
Dad got sick and he passed away, and his son was going through life, and then his son started his own business, whatever the business was, and he hit a really bad time. He hit a bad time where he lost his business, he lost his marriage, hit the darkest times. But then he also remembered, he said, hey, my dad
left me something
under the tree. But his also dad said to him, I'm going to leave you 2 boxes. And those 2 boxes, you need to open one when you're going through the hardest time of your life. And the second box, you can only open it when you're going through the best time of your life. And he remembered that. And he was like, man, my dad told me,
this is the time.
There.
Yeah.
This is the time I'm going through the hardest time.
Yeah.
And it was not, well whatsoever. He digged the box. He opened the box, big box, piece of paper in it. And he said, son, these times shall pass.
This shall pass.
These hard times will pass. He kept going through life. Those hard times did pass. Kept living, and he reached the pinnacle of his life. So happy. Healthy marriage, successful business, and he's on some yacht somewhere. He's got all the loved ones around him, and he remembered the second box. And then he got back to the village, dig the second box. There was a little note. He says, son,
this shall pass.
This shall pass as well. And that is life.
So true.
And that is business. And that's why I keep saying, it doesn't matter what you keep doing. You got to enjoy this journey, because everything in your journey has passed. The feeling of buying your first car, or
absolutely
purple Lamborghini, you had that feeling for the moment when you were picking it up. It feels great to have it now, but every feeling, stress, hard times, good times, everything passes. So we have to be in a position to enjoy entire journey. And this is one thing that I keep saying to any young individual, that don't just kill yourself working and being miserable so one day you can have nice things. Because that might take you 10, 20, 30, or God knows how many years to actually get there, right?
Yeah.
What, you're going to be unhappy going through the journey and life? Because you might get somewhere at age 40 or 50, but then you might die the next year. You never know what life can bring.
I think that's very wise what you just said, because people think that the destination will be cooler. It'll be amazing.
Yes.
Let's get there. And they forget the destination might not give you the same joy as the journey would. I acknowledge it. I had so many close calls in my life. And I think, they say that you live, there's 2 lives. The second one you live and there's only one. And I've been living that one life. I'm a cancer survivor as a 1.5 years old. I had some bullet wounds in my body. I've been in a grenade blast. I've been in a crossfirings in Kashmir, where I come from. I've lost friends. I've gone through a lot, which makes you a tougher person.
Well, you can see it again both ways. So at any individual, anything that happened to them in the past, you can take it both ways. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I lived a very poor life as a young individual, but I had amazing parents, right?
Yes.
And I'm very, very blessed and grateful.
I say I was born rich, didn't have money.
Yeah, exactly. But saying that, there are people that had bad childhoods, maybe bad parents and whatever. And anything moving forward, they are blaming the past instead of taking advantage of the past. If you had bad mom and dad, well, you know what the good news is? If you have kids tomorrow, be a better father than the one that you had. So everything that you had that happened to you, and I lived through war for 4 years, no clean water, no electricity, family members died. Talk of bullets being sprayed at us on a daily basis.
That's right.
All that is, I was like, oh man, I'm so grateful. Got me a lot closer to mom and dad. Huge. And my brother.
Yeah. 2,
got me to value life even more. So everything is how we
it all makes sense, right? When you look back, everything makes sense.
Now it does.
Now it does.
When you're going through it, you're going through the hell.
As you said, if you remember those 2 boxes,
yes.
If you remember those 2 boxes, it will ease the pain at that time.
Correct.
And it will not take you to the sky level when you're going higher and forget your values. That both of those things, as you said, as your mom said rightly, those shall pass.
And I always say, mom's always right.
Mom's is always right.
And you can't argue.
And dad is right whenever he's wrong, because we're going to get some beating. So.
My mom was more strict than my dad. My mom was the one that was giving us more beating than my dad for some reason.
I said to my kids, you're missing out.
You're missing out. You're missing out, definitely, for sure. But I think summarizing life and looking back from my point in my life where I am today, it's just understanding the meaning of one life. If people can truly understand meaning of one life, they will live things differently.
Absolutely.
Because us humans, quite often, specifically younger stage of our life, we think we're going to live forever.
Oh man.
And ask somebody, would you live any differently if somebody told you got 1 year to live? And then they start thinking, because we don't know when our life journey is going to finish. One of my very close friends is 44 years old. His wife just got diagnosed with stage 4 or 5 cancer. And I don't think there's a 20 years or 40 years to live.
Yeah.
So we don't know where the journey is going to take us. But let's say we get to live till 100. Even that 100 journey is not forever.
It's too short. It's too small.
Even if you live like a dinosaur, you're still going to die one day.
That's right.
So if people can really understand the purpose of one life and living, they will do everything differently. Then, if they are thinking about starting something, them waiting for 20 years for the perfect time will be today.
It is today. Whatever has to happen, it's today. That's why it's called present, right? Because it's a present.
Correct.
It's given to us to do things. And rightly said, I think it's important to pass on the wisdom and what you guys are doing with this podcast. And I think it's so much for kids to learn because we all come from different journeys of life, why we do things. Mine has always been about life, to be honest. I joined my journey of life and I have this one biggest principle in my life. There will be a time, and there'll be a time we're going to be sitting on the deathbed, counting our last breath. There's only one word which I want to recite at that time. No bloody regrets.
Yes.
I want to have no regrets in my life when I die. So it's very important to live present.
And life is not rehearsal. You're not going to be 100 years old on your deathbed and saying, you know what, God, let me go back to baby again and live this life. You can live up there in heaven or wherever we get. But
and I'll tell you, this is the thing. In my till date, if I look, I don't think so. It's anything. I have any regrets that I should have done that. I could have done that, and this.
Well, that's the thing. People.
And it's not, and it's nothing related to the financial or cars.
That's irrelevant.
It's absolutely irrelevant. It's just being in a space in your head and in your body where you want to be.
Success. Everybody defines success differently. With me, success is living life on my terms and being truly happy. Because
freedom.
You can have $100 million worth of cars, and if you're a miserable person, those cars mean.
Yeah.
If me and you are having a bad day, there's no difference me and you driving a Lamborghini or bicycle. We're still having a bad day.
Exactly right.
But if you're truly
it's good
happy,
to have a bad day in Lamborghini, but
I'd rather have a bad day in Lamborghini than bicycle. You got a point there. But the truth is, if you are happy as an individual, and
what's the cost, Emil? Have you ever asked that guy? I said this to someone. What is the cost of feeling good? Yeah. Everything we do in our life, whether it's business, relationship, kids, family, girlfriend, boyfriend, we do this to feel good.
Yes.
And nobody has defined to me what's the cost of feeling good.
Yes.
A lot of our decisions are actually based on that.
Yes.
So that's why I think you'll see now. I hope this relationship will continue as a good friends. I enjoy small wins.
Yes.
Any small wins, I enjoy. And sometimes I enjoy too much when the win is like, I might win a 20,000 contract, and because I've come up with a concept, and I made $20,000, and I'll spend those $20,000 in the nighttime. But it's not about the money part. Yes. It's actually there's the theory of feeling good. It's the birth of your child.
Yes.
How can you put a dollar value in it?
Yes.
So going back to our first point.
You put a dollar value when they start costing you money and having a bad grade. It's like, hey.
That's right.
Then
you know how much I pay for your studies?
So much money for your study, you're not even doing good. But now, we are living in a different life. Social media, it's unbelievably great and bad.
Yeah.
All depends. Everything in life is how we see it with our own eyes, which reminds me just of this story I was telling somebody last night. Then I get back to the social media. There was a guy, he just got married. And again, one of my stories. I love talking to old people. When I go back to Europe to my villages and stuff.
Yeah.
First thing that I love hanging out with 80, 90s old.
Oh,
Because
man.
there's so much wisdom and life
amazing.
knowledge. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they're happy with small things. So there was a guy, and he just got married. And one day, all his 10 friends, they got together and they said, we got to go and see him. We got to go and see him and tell him, hey, how can you marry and live with such an ugly wife? She's so ugly, right? And he's a good-looking guy. So anyway, they all got together. They sit down, in this living room, and they said to him, hey, we just want to know, how can you live with such an ugly wife? He's a good-looking guy. You can find a better wife somewhere.
He said, look at my girlfriends. No.
That's in today's age. And he said to them, guys, if you had my eyes,
Yeah.
she would be the most beautiful woman to you as well.
Well said.
It's how we see it.
Yeah.
Same with the social media. Social media, it's amazing because you can see, you can learn, you can meet a lot of great people. We started talking through social media, but at the same time, it's also giving this, is giving this perception that it's easy to accomplish.
It's so true. This is so true, Emil. I think it's a very valid point.
Because I remember when I was little, when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, back where I'm come from, I never saw a Lamborghini or Ferrari in person, right?
You remember the small posters?
Yeah,
on the magazine,
you
look
at
at it.
you need to zoom in it. But now, when I came to Australia, I'm 44 now, but 28 years old when I got here. Even then, you can never see Ferrari. I remember, we used to go and have a coffee in a little restaurant called Park Road here in Milton, called La Dolce Vita. We used to go there because there was one Ferrari parked there. But now, and you can see a Ferrari maybe on a movie or whatever, or Lamborghini or whatever. But now, every single second you can find all information on the net, on social media. Stuff that's blowing up is a luxury. So there's so much temptation out there that it's giving. I think it can encourage a lot of people to do better if that's what they want. But at the same time, whole point that I'm always making to them is phenomenal. But then there's a bad news for you. You get to work.
Yeah.
You get to take risks.
And I think working is when I speak to a lot of people like yourself, a lot of people come to you and ask you, give us the success mantra and everything. And there's no shortcuts, there's no mantra, there's no secret recipe. And I said one thing, because it is you can't tell them, put money in this business or something. I say it's two things which are very important to me. It's number one is knowing myself, as I previously touched, very, very important. And second is the process of setting up your mindset.
Yes.
It is so important to work on those two things.
Yes.
It is easy.
Yes.
It is very, very easy to be successful. It's not hard.
Yes.
If you have the right mindset.
Yes.
To get there.
Right mindset, you can get through anything. I mean, everything is hard if you think it's hard.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If you waking up in the morning is hard. Everything is hard. Getting up and making yourself a cup of tea or coffee could be hard.
That's right.
If you see it like that. One thing is, I think what I have inherited from my father is work ethics. Everything is hard if you're lazy. You can be the most talented guy in the world, but if you're lazy, that won't help.
The theory called being in flow. It's said, like, for example, if there was a garage, it's called a man working on a car in his garage. And he started at 9 a.m. and now it's 2. He hasn't eaten, hasn't had a water. And he's like, damn, it's 2 o'clock. He was in a flow.
Yes, yes.
He enjoyed, he loved what he did. He didn't see that as a hard work. He didn't see it as a work. He was just enjoying that. And that's a mindset if we want to bring it in whatever we do.
Yes.
Things change. So I had a lot of staff, and I knew that. Initially, Emil, what they started doing is they started looking up to me and working for me.
Yes.
And I hate that. I want people to work with me. But then I thought, okay, company is growing. There's so many leaders coming in the company.
Yes.
I can't be a consistent reason of motivation because every company we do, we have a CEO in all different companies. I don't want to be the CEO.
Yes. Yes.
As we mentioned, I'm definitely not the CEO.
I think you reached the point in your business, and we get to learn that I always say, I love employing people that are smarter and better than
Right,
I
you want to
am
be the
in
dumbest
doing
guy in the room.
fields.
You want to be the dumbest guy in the room, trust me.
And I love being it. I love employing smarter people, because if I'm the
Yeah.
smartest, how can I go above where I am right now?
And I'm blessed in that. I think both Anuj and I are absolutely blessed that we have the top of top in the country supporting us in our journey. Whether it's an advisory board, whether it's all the CEOs in a company, they are the best. But most importantly, what happens is now I tell all the people around me this, that work on your own brand. It doesn't matter even you're sitting in a front desk reception or you're a CEO. Don't turn up to work because you're working for this company, you're working for this man. Just work for your own name, your brand. That if you're doing the job of a receptionist, you do it so bloody well that you do justice to your name, to your legacy, to your upbringing. And if you do that, there's no doubt that one day you will climb all the corporate ladders and be in the top, because now you're not working for someone. Your someone is you. Keep working on yourself.
But I always say that I think we are working into this. Put it this way: 2 years ago, I had an uncle that came to Australia for a visit.
Yeah.
He's 72, 3 or 4 years old. And I asked him, Uncle, how long did you work in your last job? He said, 49 years. I said to him, I'm not asking you how long
Have you worked in your life?
worked in your life. I said, no, how much time did you spend working in one job? He said, I know what he said.
49 years.
I said, so you actually worked for one company for 49 years? He said, yes. Very rare.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I have, I got a lady, Giselle, that she interviews people, and if she really likes somebody, then she gets me to interview them as well, specifically for senior roles. I just walk in and I ask them one question: how many jobs did you have in the past 5 years?
6.
The lot of answers from a lot of young ones, they would say, I had 10 jobs. And they think that's good. They think that's good experience. And I would say to you,
bad news for us.
Next time somebody asks you this question, I'm not encouraging you to lie, but you need to lie. Because when you tell me you have 10 jobs in 5 years, first thing I'm thinking, you're not loyal.
Yeah.
So for me to employ somebody, what I want to do, I want to invest my time and energy and money for you to progress with your career. So my business can do better tomorrow.
And I get in trouble. This is so similar values you just said. I have a bad habit of not able to fire people because I keep working on them.
Yes.
I don't give up on them.
Yes.
I get in trouble from my CFO, my business partner.
Yes.
They're like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yes.
I said, no, I'll get something out of them. You just wait. Let me work on it.
Interesting. You remind me, there was I don't know his name, there was a CEO of a quite large company in New York. And he had this policy: not fire anybody, treat all the employees as kids. And I'm reading this article, and he said, think about this. How many kids do you have, Manu?
3.
3 kids. So your kids are great kids, but sometimes they could be naughty, right?
Yeah, they're different, they're naughty, they're good, they're bad.
They're kids.
They're the ECG.
They're kids like us, right? But when they're bad kids, when they do something bad, they might spill milk over the carpet or whatever it is, you don't take them to desert, open the door and say, hey, you go now, you're free to go. You work on them, right? You have to work with them, you have to tell them why you shouldn't do this again, or if they have bad grades in the school or whatever it is, you sit with them and, try to teach them.
Yeah.
So this CEO did the same thing. So any employee, he was trying to find something good in them that he can work with
on
them
it. Yeah.
instead of firing them.
Hire carefully. I said to my people that hire very, very carefully, because once you hire someone in the company, if you have to fire them, that means your process of hiring that person, your intelligence of looking at the person was completely wrong. And I hate being wrong at times. Yes, you will be wrong at times.
Yes.
But I curse myself, how the hell did I see that?
Yes.
Touch wood, like nobody has left my core group since I've done any business.
Yes.
But even the new employees we start,
Yes.
I spend a bit of a time.
Yes.
And I'd rather just not hire them, because once they come in, they become the part of that family, which is going to push them to soul limit. They'll be crying. There will be 24/7 work ethics.
Yes.
There'll be no mercy.
We don't employ people for business to do wars. So anybody that comes to any of my companies, I ask them always, you know what? for you to get paid, whatever money you're asking, you have to add value to my business.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what is the point?
I say earn money, don't make money. Earn it.
And you know what? Every day, every person needs to fight for the job, because I'm fighting for my job. You're fighting for your job
Absolutely.
today. If you don't do good things in business and our businesses start making money tomorrow, we got no job within our own business.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always the fight to actually keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I always keep saying to any individual that comes and works with me, that, you know what, I understand that opportunities do come, you know, and but if you decide to come here, and if you tell me you want to start your own business in 6 months, just be honest. At least I know what I'm in for.
Well, there's the other thing, you know, it's actually, sometimes I go through this mode of I confuse my people so much. I tell them, if you're here for me for the last 10 years, something going wrong in your life. And they're like, oh, don't say that. We want to be with you for a long time. I said, now, those who don't want to don't be an entrepreneur. And this goes to all the kids. Not everybody has to be an entrepreneur. Please don't do that. It's very similar. If if you employ me tomorrow in your business, it will be one of the worst decisions you will make, because we're not employable.
Two of us will probably sack each other in a day.
That's right, exactly. So the problem is that you don't, just by looking at cars and everything, that's why it's very important to define life successes, because you're right, people getting carried away seeing cars and lifestyle. Inside, they might not be happy.
100%.
So we need people who are born a different way. They're on a spectrum of ADHD somewhere clinically, and they have got entrepreneurial skill set, and they want to take risk. Let them do that.
Yes.
There is people who we need to just enjoy the life, because that's the main driving force, who just want to do their job.
Yes.
As long as you do justice to their job and you're working on your own brand. If everybody wants to be a bloody entrepreneur, it's all going to be crazy.
You know what?
As long as you're doing what you're meant to do.
You couldn't have said it any better, because what I enjoy, my happiness doesn't mean it's somebody else's happiness as well.
Absolutely.
Because
so
we
different.
all can handle different pressure of life, of business. And running any business, we are constantly dealing with good and bad challenges every day, but we got to keep moving forward, right?
Yeah.
And what I see as fun, somebody else would have a heart attack running my business for 24 hours.
Same thing is like, you can be a best entrepreneur in the world, and you have to do a surgery on someone, open heart surgery, and you will faint. You won't be able to do that.
Correct.
Right. So that doesn't mean that you're not good at it, or you just like, oh, just because there's so many surgeons out there, I want to be a surgeon.
Yes.
No. If you love it, do it.
Yes.
It could be a simple job where you come to work, you do 9 to 5, and you do justice to that, and you go home and you enjoy your life. Guess what? At the end of the day, the entrepreneur and the most successful guys seeking actually the same thing. Feeling good, whatever makes you feel good, just do that. Don't sit on it.
Otherwise, why start your own business? Why do something if you're not going to thrive and be happy. in it?
Oh my God, this is gold. I say this all the time. This is gold, what you just said. The choices we make to do the business is a choice we make. Job is a necessity. We need to do pay the bills, and happens to be the way
we all have to ask ourselves, why do we want to do it? And as somebody says to me, Emil, I want to start this company, and why?
Yes, why? Exactly.
Why?
I can't work for someone. Oh well, because if you can't work for someone, nobody can work for you.
And the funniest thing is, the other day I was I love watching Dana White, the president of UFC.
Yes.
And he said, some people will say, start your own business so you can set your own hours. He said, starting your own business, there is no hours.
There's no hours, man.
No hours,
you wake up and you sleep. And even if you're sleeping, you're probably dreaming about your business.
And that's the journey that we are on.
Yeah.
Manu, what's next for you?
Okay, from a business point of view, I'm not stopping until I build a unicorn.
Yes.
I will keep going until I hit that milestone.
I should introduce you to, while you're there, to my business partner, Chandray. Have you ever met her?
I've seen on the social media from New Zealand, right?
Yes, she
Yes.
owns a company called Crimson Education.
Yes,
She's the
yes,
founder.
yes.
and
Amazing.
company's
Amazing.
board.
Beautiful. Every word coming out of her mouth is beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
and she's actually Simon and Chandra are both partners are
Yeah.
with me in OneLifeClub, and we do a few different things together.
Brilliant.
And at age 28, she has created unicorn in past 10
So
years.
amazing.
So much respect because she started from nothing when she was 18 years old and such a young age.
So good, man.
She just
So
turned
blessed.
29.
So blessed.
And she has created one of the first unicorns coming specifically from New Zealand. She lives here now. And
I would love to catch up
so
with her.
it's always
Amazing.
good to meet people that have already created
Yes,
and like, show me the
yes.
way.
Yes, yes. No, it's important. Look, we have all the companies which we have got on Excel, Emil, they're hitting very soon. Reality is very different to Excel. I don't believe in Excel. but
But you gotta have a vision and the goals
Yeah.
and the targets, and keep moving.
so the
forward towards
projections
it.
we having in a lot of those companies, we definitely going to get there. Again, as long as we, my business partner, we all stay focused in our head and our headspace is right at that point. I don't think so. Yes, you could be an accidental billionaire or you could be right time, right place. But if it's a plan to get somewhere, and again, I don't think so it's about money. I think it's a milestone when you are becoming an entrepreneur. You hit the first is 100 mil. Yes, done, dusted. Now the second one is no, it's 200, 300. It's actually creating a unicorn from a startup, and that has to happen. That goal has to happen. Is some in my head.
Yes.
Look, as you said, am I going to buy a new car? No, I'll drive a Rolls. We got Lamborghinis. We got McLarens.
Yes.
I don't think so it's related to anything.
Yes.
It's just creating that company that I wake up and sacrifice so much that how many jobs we're going to create. One of the best thing, I feel so amazing. When your decisions, and I see so much privilege and blessing of God in it, that your decisions and your risks, and when we risk our money, you see a mom, a personal care worker, a registered nurse, an enrolled nurse, a doctor working in our company. Somehow you're part of their kids getting educated, their kids getting fed. There is nothing more satisfying in this life than that. It is so amazing that you become somehow in the chain of God's most loving, kindest human being, I believe. And if you become a part of making their life good, there's nothing more satisfying than that. And if you become a part of making their life worse, well, that's a very miserable life you live.
So there's always us as humans, putting business on one side, but also doing the right thing and making somebody else's day better or life better.
Man, I'll tell you what happened.
The satisfaction you get out of that.
Politicians,
another
exactly.
level.
Back in COVID time, something happened. I had a bit of a tug of war with the government. And one of the bureaucrats called me and he goes, Mannu, it's easy. Your structure is amazing because you have all this staff and structure in there. Just fire someone and everything will disappear. I said, fire someone. Wow. So if I fire someone, then my worries will go away.
Yes, yes.
They're like, yeah, like spin doctoring, right? I've got a master's in PR, so I can have them for breakfast.
Yes, yes.
I said, I'm going to reward.
Yes, yes.
So during the COVID time, which I'm mentioning, one staff of mine made a mistake.
Yes.
And it made headlines.
Yes.
I had 280 something or 257 staff working during the time.
Yes.
I bought a present for all of them. And I sent a receipt to this bureaucrat and I said, this is how I roll.
Yes, yes.
I reward people for making mistakes.
Yes.
And that has been a trend in the company, that if you make a mistake and you come in and say, I stuffed up.
Not brush it.
Not brush it. You just put your hand up and say, I stuffed up. You know what? It's going to be a dinner voucher. It's going to be something. I'll do something cool for you. And I'll feel very upset that if you hide it.
Most of the times, most people make mistakes because they're trying to go out of their comfort zone and
Absolutely.
do something.
They're trying to do something different.
Because they might do one mistake, but do another 10 things really great.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, it's always a balance.
You reward people for making mistakes. You trust me, you're never going to have a big blunder sitting under the carpet. As you said, if they're making a mistake, brushing it, that's very toxic. Make a culture where they can come and have a relationship with the boss and say, hey, listen, I just cost you a few $1,000s, or I just cost you a few $100,000.
Yes,
and I stuffed up. And that relationship, knowing that you feel secure in the business.
But, it's very rare that you're going to find good staff to do that on purpose. Two of us can talk about mistakes that have cost us millions of opportunities and so on. So we lead by example when it comes to making those mistakes, full stop. I feel that you are the kind of person that you are chasing happiness.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? And I always say to a lot of people ask me, Emil, how far do you want to go in business? And my answer is, I'm going to go as far as I'm happy going on that road.
Yes.
Right now, two of us can talk about unicorns, but in 5 years, we can say we want 5 of those, or we don't really care that where we end up because we are loving our journey and we just keep living, and good things will come with hard work that we put in.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I kind of like the fact that I didn't talk to you too much privately like this, because I'm actually learning so much. And I say that I've interviewed now well over 100 people, and I am so rich interviewing those people.
Yes.
Because I have learned, to sit in front of 100 amazing individuals that went through life, through struggles, through hard times, so much passion. I always say I'm now richer than all of you, not financially, as an individual, because there's so much to learn from every individual. And I just can't wait to see if we can, where this journey takes you. And and joking, when I was, for anybody that's watching this, Mannu and I got exactly the same color car. So as soon as I saw him, I asked him, what color is your car? And, but it's been truly a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amir. Amazing to meet you.